this atmosphere, this environment of the Prophet being oppressed and his followers, Hamza embraced Islam. He was the Prophet's uncle, number one. He was also breastfed with the Prophet ﷺ. And he was also older than the Prophet ﷺ by how many years? 2 years of age. 2 years he was older than the Prophet ﷺ. The reason Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib embraced Islam was Abu Jahl came by the Prophet ﷺ one day at As-Safa, Mount Safa. And when he saw the Prophet, Abu Jahl saw the Prophet, Abu Jahl insulted and belittled and ridiculed the Prophet ﷺ. And he also, some of the narration mentioned, he physically harmed the Prophet ﷺ. Some other narrations dismissed any physical, but they say he insulted him. He spoke vulgar against the Prophet ﷺ. وَرَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ سَاكِتٌ لَا يُكَلِّمُ. The Prophet was quiet and he did not respond to him. Brothers, I want you to understand, our Messenger ﷺ, the courage and the strength he had, only Allah knows this, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Are we all together? But to restrain or refrain yourself from following your angers is wallahi a form of strength. Are we all together? Somebody insults you, someone ridicules you, to grab yourself and hold yourself back and not getting indulged into it is one of the strongest forms of strength. Are we all together? The Prophet ﷺ, he said, لَيْسَ الشَّدِيدُ, the strong one is not the one who can wrestle the people and put them on the side. Like in the strong one is which one? مَنْ يَمْلِكُ نَفْسَهُ عِنْدَ الْغَضَبِ, is the one who has control over himself at the time he's what? He's angry. So the Prophet never responded. Abu Jahl, la'anahu, he left the Prophet ﷺ and he went to ila nadi min Quraysh in the Kaaba. He went to the assembly of Quraysh and sat there. And he was with them. وكانت مولاة لعبد الله بن جدعان في مسكن لها على الصفا تسمع ذلك. There was a slave girl who was staying in the house of Abdullah ibn Jad'an. She heard everything that took place. She saw everything that was being said to the Prophet ﷺ. As this whole commotion was happening, Hamza came. Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib. And Hamza just returned from what? He just came from hunting. And you know what he was hunting? A lion. He wanted the lion skin. There's no guns. The way that they used to hunt a lion was they would place on their hands a lot of cloth, and many cloths. The other hand is very big. Then when the lion opens his mouth, they put it in his mouth. And the other hand, they have their spear, and they have to put it in the lion. Yeah, brothers. What do you guys think? Yeah? I once had family members who were in situations back home in my country where lions would sometimes come and he would kill their livestock and they would have to deal with the lion. And they used to do that. They would take that cloth. This cloth has to be so big that, of course, the lion's teeth and mouth and everything shouldn't be able to pierce through your arm. Are we all together? And the other arm that you're going to use to put the spear, the arrow inside the lion, and then take it out, and then put it in again and take it out. The strength of these people, first of all, the courage to even think of doing that. Yeah? Ajib. So he told me a story where they were in a situation where one of them took the gears that were needed, and the rest they said they don't need it because they had guns. So they said, we're going to shoot it. So the guy who had the gun, he went forward, and he was the one who was meant to shoot down the lion. Okay, by the way, I'm not promoting for lions to be killed. I'm not saying lions shouldn't be killed. I'm just mentioning a story. So what happened was, his gun got jabbed. As the lion's coming, his gun got jabbed. Imagine a situation like that. If a lion's coming to you. So he said he got jammed. Finally worked, and they dealt with the lion. Hamza came back by himself with the skin of a lion on his shoulder. He just killed a lion, peeled the skin off, came from it. That's why what was he called? What was his name? What was his title? He's a lion. That was what Hamza was. And he was very brave, Hamza, extremely brave. So what happened was, as soon as he came, he has the spear, everything with him, the skin, all of the things, he's got it with him. When the slave girl saw Hamza coming, she knows Hamza's the Prophet's uncle. She knows they was breastfed together. She knows everything. And she knows that Abu Jahl is min Bani Makhzum. So she thought, let me tell him what happened. So she spoke. She said, Ya Aba Umara. Aba Umara was the kunya of Hamza. لو رأيت ما لقي ابن أخيك Muhammad, if only you saw what your nephew faced today, the way he was dealt with today. You saw that. From who? من أبي الحكم بن هشام وجده هؤلاء جالسا. He found the Prophet sitting here by himself. فآداه وسبه. He insulted him, he harmed the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام. وبلغ منه ما يكره. And he said up to the Prophet things that were not pleasant. And the Prophet never spoke to him. The Prophet was silent. All of this started to boil the blood of Hamza. The anger started to, and he reached a high level in Hamza radiallahu anhu. Should we say radiallahu anhu? Where did we learn this benefit from? Yeah? Shaykh Muhammad Hisham Tahiri, Hafidahullah wa ra'ah. We learned a benefit from him the other day when I translated for him. Sah? It was a benefit, very good benefit. Sah. The benefit was, if a companion hasn't become a companion in the story, you don't say radiallahu anhu at that time. Until he finally becomes. So now, even though he's a companion, we know he's a companion. Hamza, this moment, is not a companion. Because I was translating, and he was talking about the story of Hiraqla and Abu Sufyan. We all know Abu Sufyan became a what? Sahabi. So Shaykh was mentioning it, and I said Abu Sufyan radiallahu anhu. She said, no. Don't say radiallahu anhu. I'm thinking here, it was Abu Sufyan, not a companion. I forgot. I got scared. I got nervous. So the Sheikh said, no. You don't mention radiallahu anhu when you're mentioning the story of when he was a disbeliever. Because he gave a good example after that. He said, if a Sahabi, before he became a companion, he was waging war of the Prophet, like Khalid ibn Walid. At the time he was waging war against the Prophet, you're going to say Khalid ibn Walid, when he sliced the backs of the companions in the Battle of Badr, radiyallahu anhu. He said, are you going to say that? So that was a fa'ida latifa. That was a benefit that you guys can all think. So Hamza became very angry. And when he became very angry, he went to Abu Jahl straight away. One of the things that Hamza was known for was he wasn't shy or scared or frightened to express the way he feels at that particular moment. So he went directly to Abu Jahl and he smacked him in the face. Hit him in the face. And then he said to him, Atashtumu bil akhi? Are you going to insult my nephew? And some of the narrations mention the arrow, the bow that he had, the bow. Sah? He hit him with that, which hit the face of Abu Jahl. At the time he's doing that, Abu Jahl is sitting with who? All of the people of Bani Makhzum, the big heads, he's sitting with them. When you go to somebody whilst he's with his crew, yeah? No, Hamza, no, he went right there and he did it. And he went on to say, Atashtumu bil akhi? Are you going to insult my nephew? Wa ana ala dinihi, and I'm of his religion. Whoa. No one knew that. So here the historian said, where did Hamza embrace Islam? Was it just a moment he took it on? Or was it something he had already taken prior to coming there? That which seems apparent is that he said it from the moment. There was no external evidence to show that he believed this before that. This is what forced him to say it. The reason is because the story carries on. Abu Jahl, when he was hit, فَرُدَّ عَلَيَّ ذَلِكَ إِنِ اسْتَطَعْتَ. Hamza he hit him, and he said, are you going to insult him, my nephew, when I'm on his religion? And then he looked at Abu Jahl in the eyes and he said, hey, respond, say something to me. Abu Jahl was quiet, didn't say anything. فَقَامَ رِجَالٌ مِّن بَنِي مَخْزُومٍ. Because he was sitting with his people, some of them stood up, ready to go for Hamza. The narrations mention two things. The two things is, one narration mentions that Abu Jahl said to all of them, sit down. Hamza, all of you guys, you can't do anything to him. Leave him. That's one narration. Another narration said, leave him. This is the most common one. He said, da'hu. Leave him. Leave Aba Umara. فَإِنِّي وَاللَّهِ قَدْ سَبَبْتُ بِنْ أَخِيهِ سَبًّا قَبِيحًا. I was the one who insulted his nephew very badly. What I said today was very severe. It's something anyone would become angry for. This is where the story carries on. Hamza went home. And that night was one of the hardest nights for Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib. Why? That whole night he kept replaying what he had just said. I embraced Islam. He started to say to himself, am I going to leave my father's religion, Abdul Muttalib, for someone who is younger than me, who my nephew? What was I thinking when I said that? So this thought, the whole night was playing on his mind until he came to the Prophet ﷺ in the morning. When he came to the Prophet ﷺ and he spoke to him, the Prophet said to him words of comfort, words that penetrated his heart. Hamza embraced Islam, and that was a day of honor for the Muslims. The day that Hamza embraced Islam, the day that he became a companion. Because what he did from that moment onwards is amazing. And inshallah we're going to touch more about his life in the battle of Badr and the role that he played in the battle of Badr. Inshallah ta'ala. In our next lesson, inshallah ta'ala, our next session, inshallah ta'ala, we're going to be speaking about the Islam of Umar ibn Khattab. Another man whose Islam was honor. We're going to talk about the story behind it and the way that he took Islam. I'm going to stop here, inshallah ta'ala. Anything I've said that was wrong or incorrect, mistakes or shortcomings, is from me and Shaytan, and Allah and His Messenger are both free from it. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.